Hello dearies, welcome to EachPage Flow. I'm Sela, and today's episode will be dedicated to The Magician's Nephew. Did you know that Netflix and Greta Gerwig, a director, are making a Narnia movie? Yes, they are. And it will be the first part of Narnia, the origins. And it is scheduled to be released in movies or theaters, if you must, on November 26th of this year, 2026. This movie, I didn't know that it was happening, but I am actually excited to go and watch it. It will star Emma McKay as Jadis, the White Witch, David McKenna as Diggory Kirk, and Beatrice Campbell as Paul Plummer, all of which we are going to talk about in today's episode. But today is not about the movie, it is about the book. Today's episode 5 of season 3 or episode 23 of the whole podcast is about the origins of Narnia, The Magician's Nephew. And also my first ever C.S. Lewis book review. Let us begin. In today's episode there will be spoilers because I'm gonna talk like you know already about Narnia and you have read The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, or at least watched all of the movies that were out years ago. But if you have not read or watched the movie, please be warned that there will be spoilers. And if you like least spoiler heavy review, you can go to the blog EachPage.org and read about it there. Now, this first book, The Magician's Nephew, was a little strange for me when I began reading it because of the point of views and how it's narrated. And it was kind of an eye-opening experience for me because C.S. Lewis had a strange way of writing his books. And I am on the third book, on the fourth one. I finished the third one, The Horse and His Boy, and started Prince Caspian, and all of those first three, including this one, have been strange to read, to be honest. And I mean, I didn't have any clear expectations of the books, but I don't know. I thought they would be different. I don't know what I was expecting, but not what I read. So the book is about 200 pages or so. It should be a quick read, right? But it took me like months to finish it. There were parts that I grabbed the tone and the flow of it, and I read on days on a row or for over an hour, and yet I did not finish quickly. But I mean, it took me, by the end of it, the last 20% of the book, it took me about a week to finish. I was very slow with it, and I mean, I wanted to finish to move on with its story and everything, but I still couldn't pick it up and be completely immersed in it. That doesn't mean that I didn't like it, because I did. I honestly did, and I wouldn't be doing this one if I hadn't liked it. So this book follows two kids that jump from war to war, basically, and accidentally bring evil people from those other magical wars into new ones. And here's where it gets interesting, because it will tell you, obviously, as I said, the origins of Narnia. So it says how Narnia started, literally. Even though first you are in a world where you get to jump into something I don't want to say all the spoilers, but yes, you jump to a place and go to other worlds. And basically, when you get to this almost nothingness and suddenly see how Narnia begins to grow and realize that Aslan is basically God, that's why you really get your eyes wide open about the story. If you didn't know about any of it, if you hadn't read about it. Now, did you know that the White Witch is not actually from Narnia? Yes, that is what I found out in this book. It shocked me. Because of all the other worlds that exist, not just Earth or Narnia, which we go to through a wardrobe, which is also in this book being told how that happened, how the wardrobe came to be. The White Witch was in another world, and the kids, being kids, did things that they shouldn't have and awoke this, let's say, I'm gonna say person, but she's a witch, so this being that went into Narnia, and that is how she got there and started terrorizing the whole new world that was Narnia. Because at the beginning of everything, the magician's nephew, Narnia was just getting started, and you get to see why there's a lamppost starting the country, and why this woman is there terrorizing everybody. I'm not gonna say the whole thing because I believe in the power of reading the book and getting immersed in it. But yes, if you want to know how all of this happened, you should read The Magician's Nephew. However, there are things that make you start a debate online. I decided to read the books in chronological order rather than publication order. The publication order has obviously The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as the first book, because that's how the author originally had it, because according to him, he didn't know that he was gonna write the rest. However, there is much discussion online of whether you should read it in chronological order, that is how Narnia came to be, and The Magician's Nephew being the first book, or publication order, which would be with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first. I decided to go chronological because I like to know the stories in the order that they happen. If I have read The Magician's Nephew later on, after reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and I don't remember what the other one is called. I believe is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. These are books that, if I'm not mistaken, came before this first one. So that is completely up to you, because as far as I can tell, in what I read online, the author said that he didn't know that he was gonna write the other books. However, that it would be okay and it would be advisable to read first this one, The Magician's Nephew, because then you get the whole story in the order that it happened at the events of the story. So that is completely up to you. I also believe that you should be reading like this, but that's just me. Everybody has their own taste on how they want to read the books. And that's it for this one. Thank you, dearies, for listening to me rant and ramble about another book that I liked. And let me know in the comments if you have read this book or any of the Narnia ones, It has been a journey so far for me, and I want to continue reading and knowing the story of it. I know that I have a long way to go yet, but it will be exciting. For the next episode of the podcast, I'm taking a turn, and it will be a romance novel review. I haven't done the first part of it, but I want to talk about the second part. So expect the next one soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this episode, and share it, or save it for later to get all the little tidbits of this book. And if you'd like to read the written review, you can go to EachPage.org and follow there as well for more on the future books that I will be reading in the Narnia universe. That's it from me. See you on the next one.